It is the third week of October in this year of our Lord 2017. Anyone feeling particularly patriotic right about now? Me neither. Anyway. Tying horror films to holidays is one of those things that feels really strange until you think about it for a little bit. One of the most reliable things you can do in a horror movie is prod at people's boundaries and openly violate cultural taboos, and to be effective at that you need to identify and exploit culture and shared mythology that a broad audience can recognize, and given that most notable holidays tend to be tied to religious or national identity, their iconography is an obvious choice because you generally don't even have to be part of the group celebrating to cue in on why it's a big deal. Even most non-Christians get that the idea of a killer Santa Claus is a transgressive perversion of something associated with children and innocence.
Through Halloween. Now try and survive Christmas.
Hell, even though Halloween was based around the quote-unquote scary holiday, its whole hook is violating the innocently scary fun of goofy monster movies and being out in your neighborhood after dark by having an actual straight-up murderer skulking around in the shadows. It obviously works better for some holidays than others, the 4th of July probably being the best American example, so if nothing else, give director William Lustig and writer Larry Cohen credit for trying with 1996's Uncle Sam.
Where is that hatchet?
So we open in Kuwait about 3 years after the first Gulf War, or as we called it in 1996, the Gulf War, with some American soldiers belatedly discovering a helicopter full of bodies seemingly downed by friendly fire several years earlier, which of course they'd prefer to cover up.
Friendly fire?
These things happen in war.
Unfortunately, one of those bodies is not quite dead.
Don't be afraid. It's only friendly fire.
News that the remains of this particular soldier, Sam Harper, will now be returning home are met with mixed reactions by his family and hometown. His nephew Jody is devastated because he grew up idolizing his war hero uncle and adopting his military-loving, ultra-patriotic views.
How come?
Well, I grew up during Vietnam, and many people thought that was an unjust war. Many young people, like myself, protested the war. In fact, some people left the country for a while.
My Uncle Sam said you guys were cowards.
Just so we're clear, yes, our killer Uncle Sam is our main character's actual uncle named Sam. But on the other hand, Jody's mom and Louise, aka Sam's now ex-wife, are actually pretty glad to finally confirm that he's dead, because Sam was a sadistic asshole who abused his wife and only joined the army so he could kill people legally. Something they've elected to keep from Jody, which, in case the metaphor was still too subtle at this point, will turn out to have been a bad idea on their part. So zombie and or just really hard to kill Sam, this isn't the kind of movie that's going to explain much, gets up out of his coffin and sets out to make some mayhem in his hometown. First by picking up an Uncle Sam costume for a disguise because it happens to almost be the 4th of July, so those are just kind of around.
I hope you got an eyeful.
Oh, hey, for my many non-American viewers, we don't actually know who or what Uncle Sam is actually supposed to be either. For a long time, our personified national mascot was a female figure called Columbia, but for some reason a neoclassical Romanesque goddess figure named for a failed explorer who at the time only a minority of Italian immigrants cared about never fully caught on. Then around the mid-1800s, a specifically New England mascot character called Brother Jonathan gradually morphed into a national editorial cartoon fixture allegedly named for a guy who sold meat to the army during the War of 1812 named Sam Wilson, who ultimately got immortalized by a World War II propaganda poster, and yeah, I guess people just dug the design. In any case, this Uncle Sam's thing is that he's driven to hunt down and slaughter the insufficiently patriotic, starting with some teenage flag burners.
Yeah! Oh. Yeah, come on, swing it! Oh. Stop, please! Hey! Hey!
Jodie's anti-war ex-hippie teacher.
We'll miss our place in the march.
Mr. Crandall went back to get the axe.
A lawyer who helps his clients cheat on their taxes.
Where you shoot, you should get a job working at the post office. You know, pal, you should take it easy.
Don't give me the silent treatment, you.
Some more disrespectful teenagers. A corrupt politician. And his wife's new boyfriend. It's kind of weird that the tax cheat is in there too, since the movie is otherwise leaning hard on Sam as a stand-in for the right-wing nationalist set, so it's kind of a skew that he'd be for killing on behalf of the honor of big government, but then again, Bill Lustig's message movies are always a little on the ideologically muddy side, like the Maniac Cop movie, which are mostly about using horror to frame a mainstream understanding of how and why marginalized communities come to see the police as an inherently threatening presence, but are also very much about how fears stoked by the evil zombie cop make things dangerous for the quote-unquote good cops. There's also a bizarre out-of-nowhere subplot about a blind kid who was injured by fireworks having an unexplained psychic connection to Sam that makes no sense whatsoever other than a shortcut to revealing the killer's identity to Jodie.
Even in darkness, you can see me better than those with eyes.
Did he tell you who he is?
He didn't need to. He's your uncle, Sam Harper.
My Uncle Sam? But he's dead.
I never said he wasn't.
But on the other hand, the scene where Jodie's mom and aunt finally decide to have the talk about who Sam really was and what he did to them is played 100% straight and pretty affecting.
Your Uncle Sam wanted everybody to be afraid of him, especially me. He hurt me so badly that I was afraid that one day he might kill me.
You're making that up.
I know it's an awful thing to say, but I was so happy the day that he got married and moved out of the house, because then he'd have another victim instead of me. Louise, I'm sorry. I could have warned Louise. I could have told her about what he'd been doing to me since I was 6 years old. But I didn't. Things I couldn't even tell Mom and Dad. Things I knew were wrong. I think that's what came between me and your father. Don't you see, honey? I just couldn't trust men.
Honey, do you understand what she's trying to tell you?
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Like, I kind of wish one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies would be that upfront and direct about, hey, we know Freddy is fun because he kills people and makes dumb jokes, but he's also a child rapist, please remember. Either way, it ultimately falls to the two kids to defeat Sam once and for all.
I wanted to be like you.
You have to be dead first. Are you volunteering?
I was proud of you. You were like a hero. And now you're killing Americans?
Americans? These are the same people that left me to die in the desert. Well, now they've gotta face me. Your Uncle Sam.
Aided by the late Isaac Hayes as a disabled Korean War vet who blames his own propensity for telling war stories as helping warp Sam's perspective as a child.
I'm staying with Sam. He's taking me back with him.
Is that boy done gone nuts?
Light it.
Uncle Sam is cheap and silly, but definitely has an effect taken as a whole, and if nothing else, the overriding message about watching who you hero worship and being wary of cheap appeals to patriotism feels more relevant right now than, well, than it's felt in a long time, let's put it that way. 3 down, 2 to go. Next week, things are gonna get animated. Hey gang, here's a question that keeps coming up. If your handle is MovieBob, where are your movie reviews? Well, my old reviews are in a lot of places. You'll find many of them on my YouTube channel, but you'll find the brand new ones on Geek.com, an awesome site that's also your one-stop news source for science, TV, gaming, technology, nerd culture, the works. You can find all my reviews directly by going to geek.com/author/bchipman, because that's my real name, and you can get regular updates on all my reviews and all of Geek.com's other great content by signing up for their kick-ass newsletter at subscribe.geek.com. And don't forget to also subscribe to the Geek.com YouTube channel, where you'll find the videos that accompany my reviews and tons of other great content too. Remember, that's Geek.com, the Geek.com newsletter, and Geek.com on YouTube. Make sure you don't miss out on all the latest MovieBob reviews. You can also check out my own new website, MovieBob Central, where you'll find my blog, links to all my work, and shop for my books, ebooks, and future MovieBob products. And please remember to like these videos, share them with all of your friends, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching another MovieBob production.